What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. Folks, I believe we just seen the last of that Fox News host Jessica Tarlov after she just crossed that point of no return when attempting to push a false narrative in regards to the Charlie Kirk tragedy, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, top straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Right, breaking right now, reports of a confession posted on Discord from Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin hours before, after the murder, but hours before his father turned him in to authorities in Utah. This is Washington Post reporting on this at this point. Justice correspondent David Spunt joining me now live from Washington. Hi, David. What can you tell us?
Hi, Martha. About 2 hours before he was turned into authorities, this according to the Washington Post. We are working to independently confirm this as well, but the Washington Post says that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect charged in Charlie Kirk's murder, confessed, and I want to read this according to the Washington Post, writing on Discord, that social media chat group that the FBI says he used, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." This coming from the Washington Post. Now, this comes as DOJ officials began late last week and over the weekend looking at the potential for at least one federal charge. No guarantee they'll get there. A department spokesperson declined comment, but a source familiar said investigators are not ruling anything out at this time, especially his online gaming presence, his chats, as we just mentioned. Who was he talking to? What did he say? FBI Director Kash Patel said this earlier this morning. Watch.
In order to properly adjudicate this matter and let law enforcement hand off information into evidence for a court of law for prosecution, we have to go out and get search warrants. We have to go out and get search warrants of the identifiers that were then built off of the prior search warrants. And we are doing that. And we are going to be interviewing scores of people on not just these chats on Discord, but any communications that this individual have. We've seized multiple electronic devices from the home of the suspect and his romantic partner. We've got computers, we've got laptops, we've got gaming systems, we've got cell phones. All of that is being triaged by the FBI because that's what we do. And the resources that the Attorney General has dedicated to this mission is allowing us to move at the speed we have. As you said, 33 hours. 33 hours, Sean, this individual is apprehended.
Out there in the public space that a significant amount of the digital evidence we acquired in this case was on Discord. Now, listen, this does happen on a lot of platforms, and the difference between platforms and publishers is there's a different level of responsibility legally for them. However, individuals on that platform, it is not a safe harbor, Rob, to go on a platform and say, well, I said it publicly on said platform, so this I can threaten to kill or harass someone. It doesn't work that way. No. We'll go anywhere to look for you if we believe you committed a crime, and if we can gather enough PC, probable cause, and surpass that legal hurdle and get process done on you and arrest warrants and search warrants, we'll do it. I said this morning, and I'll say again, this is not the end of this investigation. It's not even the end of the beginning of the investigation. We've just started. The fact that we have a suspect, and everybody's obviously innocent until proven guilty in this constitutional republic we have, but we are investigating a potential broader network of people who may have known, and we've had some, I think I can tell you comfortably on your show tonight, we've had some developments in the case actually right before I came on the air. So there have been some significant developments in the case. You'll be the first to hear about it, and we hope to have more on that. I have to be careful about it right now, but we hope to have more on that within the coming hours.
The president confirmed something that many of us had suspected after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Beyond the anti-fascist motivations Tyler Robinson revealed on his bullet casings, there was also a trans element to this shooting. Trump revealing the killer lived with a trans girlfriend, that's a male identifying as a female. And the problem, of course, is very clear here. The bowels of the far left have produced a very dangerous cult in this country. The misfits, the weird kids embracing trans as some kind of a crutch, and many other oddities as well are becoming violent, and they are lashing out. Church shootings, school shootings, assassinations. In addition to a trans attraction, Charlie Kirk's killer also had a furry fixation, according to the New York Post, attracted to people who dress up as animals. Here's the trans girlfriend of the killer dressed up in a dog costume. These are the angry today. These are the violent. And the weird is not the problem. The violence is the problem, and it's now very clear that this country has a serious problem with violence from the darkest and most bizarre corners of the far left.
So folks, we're seeing major developments coming into this case that could potentially point to the possible motive. Meanwhile, we got that Fox News host Jessica Tarlov attempting to downplay this whole tragedy, citing that there's violence on both sides of the aisle.
Yes, we don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know. There's absolutely no cognitive...
What about Melissa Hortman that we just talked about?
You want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
She doesn't matter?
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now you could bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your what about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That is dead. For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm, we are honest, and we are resolute. We're not defensive, and I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder after calling somebody a fascist, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism, the trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me.
I just want to be clear, and I want to let people speak. I in no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
but
since
then. But the two
then,
sides argument, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's have a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot. Look, I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold. And I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles. It's immune to rationalizations. It's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good. And we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on this story. built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That shit's dead. Sorry. For the swearing as well. I apologize to the American public. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the show.
Wow, folks, Greg Gutfeld absolutely decimating Jessica Tarlov, not holding back whatsoever. This actually might have been the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then we had Jesse Waters and Kid Rock also nailing it on this whole false narrative, the both sides narrative coming from the mainstream media and these folks on the left.
I've said it and I'll say it again because I think it needs to be echoed until they get it through their fat skulls. The mainstream media is frickin' public enemy #1 right now. Just the clips you just ran of these people from the New York Times and these other nut houses they call media establishments. It's absolutely frickin' ridiculous. I mean, and then they say to, Charlie Kirk, God bless him, by the way, his wife, kids, that, he's inciting this, he's inciting that. I'm someone who understands better than anyone as being a very vocal Trump supporter from day one. They've called me a racist Nazi for years now. I mean, go look up a few facts about my life, my children, where everything. But other people start to echo this. Just people who write dumb articles who think, I'm trash and I hate my music, and they say he's just a racist Nazi. And, this starts to build and build and build. So you get these nut house kids who are doing nothing but playing video games, watching these occult movies that are all over our streaming services, that won't go outside to play any sports or anything. And, then they think they're going to do something good. I'm going to go kill a Nazi. I'm going to go kill a racist. And they're literally mentally deranged. We need to bring the frickin' nut houses back.
Yeah, you're incentivizing these loner kids to take shots so they can be heroes. And then every time after it happens, kid, they say, oh, we all have to come together. We all have to come to both sides are violent, both sides, and then they just move on and start calling us fascist again.
Well, I've heard a lot of my liberal friends say it, and they're exactly right. Like, you don't want to mess with us people. We have the guns. We know how to use them. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants an all-out war. We understand that everyone on the left is not sick, but there are enough people in the media and enough of these crazy liberals that just create this big echo chamber. And I'm not saying there aren't crazy right-wingers that do some of this too. There's a little bit of guilty on both sides. But these people, I mean, they're supposed to be this inclusive, this, that, and the other. And they're the ones that don't want to talk and get along with anyone, just don't even want to sit down and break bread. I mean, I'm in this business where some of my friends, people I've had big hits with, call me with this whack out stuff all the time.
Yeah, we got to start listening to each other and respect one another.
Jesse Waters and Kid Rock exactly right in saying that we cannot continue to allow the left to blame both sides and then move forward and repeating this very toxic cycle. We have to hold these folks accountable. And now we have Democratic leadership like that Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that we cannot blame one side. And then we have other Democrats coming out presenting threat index level PowerPoints warning folks about the dangers of folks on the right.
If I could, I was listening to what you're saying before. What would you like to hear from the Oval Office in this current political climate? You talked a little bit about where you're at and both sides of the camp down. What would you like to hear from the president in this?
Well, I think you heard some of it in my own remarks. And so I would like to hear the President of the United States, instead of pointing fingers, simply say that political violence has no place in this country, and that the President does not condone it. And the targeting of one group or another group by the President of the United States, as he did on Friday, is completely inappropriate. And I would hope that on his mind would be peace and calm and prayers instead of finger pointing and criticism.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
Movement is eliminating opposition, suppressing dissent, and restructuring the state in its image. This is already happening in lots of different arenas, but we haven't seen it fully express itself. And then stage 5 is where the movement now radicalizes. So this is the final stage. The regime intensifies their repression and their expansionist ambitions. Now there are also 9 measures, I'm not going to go through them all, you can look at them later, of increasing authoritarianism. And I'll just summarize them by saying that the first several are about violating norms, right? And we've seen that over and over again. These norms that have always existed, like that's just the way we do it, right? No. The first 3 are about violating those norms.
And now we have another one that has yet divided the Dems. We got half the Dems screaming that this political violence is coming from both sides of the aisle, while others are coming out admitting fault, saying this is a direct result of their dangerous rhetoric that they have been pushing.
The party should not call Trump Hitler, should not say he's a fascist. One, it's bad politics. 2, it's just not true, right? It is simply not the case. And I think that whenever a bad thing happens, parties need to call out in real time, this is not acceptable. And I wish that one of our 2028ers would come out and be more explicit. Like I thought Bernie Sanders did a great job. But the next step is some of these leaders, I am wrong or was wrong to call Trump. Like we all need to lower the temperature. And I'm going to do my part by saying like, we got to knock this crap off. Win in the marketplace of ideas, win at the ballot box. But don't say we have to destroy the other side and stop it because it's Hitler. Because I agree with the speaker, Johnson. Crazy people hear that and think I have to do my part.
And it's very refreshing to finally see some form of ownership amongst the Democratic Party, something that they've been severely lacking. Then we also have our Vice President J.D. Vance coming out and explaining the only way that we'll see true unity again.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
Vice President J.D. Vance coming out and going absolutely thermonuclear on these folks who won't come out and openly condemn political violence on either side of the aisle. That's the only way they're going to work back to being unified as a country, guys. And you already know this whole situation with Jessica Tarlov and Greg Gutfeld has got the internet in an uproar. So we're going to check out what's going on and what folks have to say on X. And to kick this one off, we got our friend Gunther Eagleman here on X tweeting out saying you can see the look on her face when she realized just how bad she messed up. I don't think she could ever show her face here again, but let's just see how depraved she truly is. And I mean, after that one, I think we may have seen the end of Jessica Tarlov as we know it. We also have our friend Matt Van Swole here on X tweeting out saying, honestly, good for Fox News, good for them, and good for Greg Gutfeld. Perfectly describes what everyone is feeling right now. Jessica is not a nice person nor a smart person, and Greg put her in her place. Well done. Absolutely. Greg Gutfeld should pat himself on the back. He did not hold back whatsoever and laying down the facts on Jessica Tarlov. We also have our friend Wyoming Patriot here tweeting out saying, I have never seen Greg so mad. We get it, Greg Gutfeld. We get it. Fire Jessica. And I know this is a no-brainer for me. I mean, Jessica Tarlov has done nothing but push falsehoods, lies, and false narratives. I think it may be time for the boot. We have our friend GR here on X, tweeting out saying Jessica Tarlov doesn't belong on the 5. Bring back Harold Ford Jr. permanently. And I've seen tons of folks saying that and also feel the same way. Jessica Tarlov just takes reality and she always twists and contorts it, versus Harold Ford Jr. is always able to, have a little bit of accountability, a little ownership of the faults of his own party. Jessica Tarlov is blind to the reality, blind to the facts. And finally, folks, I'm going to leave it here with some great news. This one coming from our friend Mario Nonfault here on X, breaking it out, saying that Charlie Kirk assassin is set to face the judge today. Tyler Robinson, 22, the trade school student accused of coming after Charlie Kirk with a single-shot rifle from a rooftop, is set to appear in court later today via Zoom call from jail. Investigators say they've got it all. They got the DNA on the weapon, rooftop tools, security footage, and a text where Robinson allegedly said he planned to come after Charlie Kirk. He even confessed to his friends in a Discord before his arrest, and his own family turned him in. Utah is expecting to push for the death penalty. Okay, and this is very good news for us. I mean, we need to see justice for Charlie Kirk, and we also need to start seeing these folks from left owning up and taking a little bit of responsibility. It was their words that led to this tragic day. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Fox News host Greg Gutfeld absolutely laying it all out there when Jessica Tarlov tried to once again push a false narrative and downplay the tragedy of Charlie Kirk. It's something you just don't do. It's sick, it's pathetic, and I can't wait to see what Fox News does as a direct result of Jessica Tarlov non-stop pushing these lies and falsehoods, attempting to put a spin on each and every narrative so that it benefits her party. We've seen enough of it. Let's get Harold Ford Jr. Give him a try. I mean, this guy is a solid guy. I mean, he's able to see both sides of the aisle and also admit when his party is wrong. And that's something Jessica Tarlov simply cannot do, guys. But definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.